Oh baby, it's G2 Lewa. He's delightful. Let's talk about why this set is the best. Let's also share some ways that you could use the pieces that come in this set in your own LEGO creations. And we'll finish this 3-course meal with a few revamps of this character as well. There he is, there's my boy. Look at him, look at that beautiful mask as well. It evokes so much of the same kind of energy that the original Lewa mask has. It gives off this beautiful amount of like happy, positive and silly vibes. Which of course feels very appropriate for the character. And then check out these axe weapons. They have a great streamlined look to them, which I think really matches the aerodynamic and agile aesthetics that Lewa has. And the fact that you can remove the axe heads and then turn them into wings? So clever. And if you really want, these wings could double as weapons as well. Plus, Lewa can keep these wings and then get the handles from those axes and use them as swords. And the first wave of G2 really hit it out the ballpark with some great weapon designs that had all sorts of different functions to them. How amazing is that? I did always like the energy of Lewa Master's shoulders. It's a really nice design, it ties into the chest armor quite nicely, and I think this look really sets this toy apart from all the other different characters in that first wave of sets. The little things like that make them feel unique and different. I always enjoy that stuff. Yeah, what a good set. But the best part about Lewa is the large amount of bright green CCBS pieces that you get in this set. If you want to make yourself a mock with an unusual color, you just need to buy like 1 or 2 different Lewa sets, and you get heaps of bright green that you can play with. Kumuoro Knight has a mock here that's called Pika, Skull Mechan of the Jungle, and it uses a few of these smaller CCBS shells in bright green. Now I love how he's combined these with some of these Elex spike pieces that are on the shoulders. Those spikes are technically a different color, but they do blend quite well with bright green. And I like that there's only a few bright green pieces here, the rest is dark bluish gray. And that's perfect, you know, sometimes just a subtle little burst of green like this, that's all you need. And like we can see here, it looks mighty fine. But then if you want to use a lot of bright green on a mock, do something like Unuku has done here on this little table scrap mock. The idea of using 2 Lewa G2 masks for shoulder pads? So cool. And then how nice is it to see so many CCBS armor pieces on pretty much every part of this mock? Of course, it is a little bit easier to shove so much of it onto one character when they're a little bit of a smaller build like this one. But you can't deny that black, trans red, and bright green, so pretty. Always a pleasure to see people playing with uncommon colors. You also get a nice supply of Keat Orange CCBS shells in this set. It's a surprise to see Lewa with Keat Orange and bright green in his color scheme, but I'm glad they included an extra bit of color. It looks beautiful. So let's say you wanted to use these pieces in your own mocks. Well, Dylan Meaves has done that here on his Rakshi of Heat Vision. A couple of them have been used on the lower leg, and that looks lovely. But the best use of this piece has to be using it for this spine design. Angling so many of them in this nice curved shape, and then placing some of these silver quasar spikes on top of each one. What a great way to reimagine the classic Rakshi back design, but use modern pieces to do it. Maybe you could do the same. And this set, like every G2 set, it comes with a skull spider, and this time it's in dark blue. Now I still adore the play feature where you can have these skull spiders possessing the Toa. It's such a simple way to make this small little enemy so much fun to play with. Now, Shadow Gear 6335 has used this piece on a mock called Obelisk. It's included in a very small way, but it's a very impactful way of using it. If we zoom in on the base of the torso here, we can see 2 of these are used on the sides. This is just the perfect way to help bridge those spider legs up into this torso design. Creates a nice smooth transition, doesn't it? And of course, you could also use this as a mask if you want. It's a very versatile piece, lots of different ways to use it. Lewa's uniquely printed torso piece is a rather lovely one. And here's a beautiful mock by Max Howell that uses it. So the main colors on this mock, silver, black, gunmetal. Sure, it's nice, but it's lacking a little bit of color. But thankfully, Max has added in these lovely little pops of green, like on the fingernails, a couple other parts on the back, and of course, this torso piece. And mate, these little pops of green look so good when they're surrounded by a sea of darker colors. Yeah, sometimes the tiniest little injection of a specific color is all you need. That's gonna make the mock really shine. Now I mentioned Lewa's green mask before, but since you also get a pearl gold variant in this set, let's discuss a way that you could use it. But let's see how we can use it when we flip it on its side. So Shadow Gear 6335 has a mock here called Namaste, the Wandering Scholar. And when we look at the head design, we can see it's almost been used as a bit of a helmet. The custom brick-built face that's underneath this helmet is also stunning. It's just a really, really good head design. A very clever way to use this mask, that's for sure. And finally, Lewa Master of Jungle comes with 3 of these silver spike pieces, and Max Howell has a mock here called Egg Carrier that uses these claw pieces. So 2 of them placed together like this to form this interesting pincer. phenomenal. And then when we look at the top of the head, there's a couple more tucked away in here to help form this larger head design. So many different ways to use this piece. Max Howell has done it another way on this mock of the shadowed one, and we can see these pieces being used for leg armor. And it does look very, very good as leg armor. Definitely a technique you should try out. Alrighty, so that's some food for thought for how you could use the pieces that come in this set. Now let's see how you could revamp G2 Liwa. Fumin has a gorgeous Liwa revamp that really ups the amount of silver in the color scheme. And of course, that increased amount of silver, it blends in very nicely with that torso piece. The printing on it pops even more now since it's surrounded by silver. There is something nice about very small hints of bright green that have been scattered across a very silver mock. It's a good look. And then turning this mock around, look at this jetpack on the back. What a surprisingly good addition to the character. I'm frankly surprised I've never really seen too many jetpacks on Liwa mocks. It works well. But I love how Jakku Builds has reimagined Liwa. You know, it's funny because this version of Liwa is the master of jungle. He's not a Toa of air like he was in Bionicle G1. But I don't know, there isn't really much that's going on the official set that makes him feel all that jungly. I would argue a lot more of his qualities reflect elements of air more so than they do jungle. So giving Liwa plant pieces for this kind of waistcloth design, or using the Elix spike pieces to mimic plant life. Well, it finally injects a really healthy amount of plant and jungle qualities into the character. And I love how it looks. Now sure, this version of Liwa is a little bit too tall and strong. It's not really how the character has ever looked. But hey man, this is Bionicle G2. This is a totally different version of Liwa. So why not make them tall and strong and buff? A different take every now and then? That's nice to see. And in this alternate universe of Bionicle, you can do whatever you want. But if you're still not sold on the body shape of this version of Liwa, take ideas from how they've introduced the plant life concepts. Maybe you could look at your system pieces and get a few different plant elements, some stems, some leaves, all sorts of stuff, and find ways to put those pieces onto your Liwa mock. That's definitely going to look good. And then check out this revamp by Monopoly. It's a clever idea to get some very thin limbs and some actual wing pieces onto Liwa's arms. It's a very distinct change, but I think it just makes sense. He's gonna need to be aerodynamic and lightweight if he's gonna fly around. So changing up the design to accommodate for something like that, it's appropriate. A very nice take on the character. So there you go, I hope you enjoyed this deep dive look into G2 Liwa, all of his wonderful pieces, and a few different ways that you could reimagine the character. There's certainly so much mocking potential in these pieces and in this set. And that's why I love this guy so much. So if you enjoyed some of the mocks that I showcased in today's video, please check the links in the description below. You'll see links to everyone's social media there. Go and check out some of the other awesome creations that they've made. If you've been enjoying these G2 Bionicle set reviews, I'm definitely going to be doing more, so stay tuned. Otherwise, that's all for today, guys. Thanks for watching, happy building, and bye for now.